grupo que se presenta el día de mañana como parte del programa artístico que Israel presenta en esta edición de la feria. Su concierto comenzará a las 9 como el resto de los conciertos programados. Así es que, pues, creo que les presentaré, está de derecha a izquierda de ustedes, está Dotan Yogev y Podrás, quienes estarán platicándonos acerca de Marsh, Dondurma y de lo que planean presentarnos mañana en este concierto. Pues, Udi y... Okay, yeah. Chicos, si podríamos empezar, que nos puedan platicar un poco acerca de su proyecto. Cuéntenos cómo iniciaron, cuántos integrantes conforman la... ¿Ya? Cuéntanos un poco acerca de los inicios de su proyecto, el género de música que interpretan o lo que fusionan y qué espectáculo podrán presentaros mañana, qué es lo que el público de Guadalajara podrá apreciar de ustedes, que si estoy de acuerdo me corregirán, pero creo que es la primera vez que están en México para hacer conciertos. Así que, pues chicos, por favor, platícanos un poco y enseguida les pasamos el micrófono a los reporteros para que puedan hacerles algunas preguntas.
You need this? Is this good? Okay. So first, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us here in Mexico. Yes, this is our first visit to Mexico, but hopefully not our last. We've had such a warm welcome. It's incredible, and it's really great to feel the hospitality of all the people of the festival, but also just walking out today in the street in Guadalajara. You know, we were walking down the street and there was this small yard, and we walked inside and we hear some music instruments playing, and it's like a music conservatory and music academy, and we just went in and talked to the people and everybody was so nice. So we're really feeling at home and very excited here for our show tomorrow. Marsh Dondurma is a 15-member brass band. That's huge. Muy grande. Sí. And you know, we've been together for the past 9 years, playing all these 15 people together for these 9 years. And aside of playing with amazing musicians, we have the privilege of having these people as company, as friends for so long. So I think tomorrow on stage we're going to bring our version of a Middle Eastern brass groove, hopefully ecstatic and energetic, and we really want to get the audience up and dancing with us. But we're also going to bring our friendship and our join energy to the stage, and it's a really big part of what happens on the stage with Marsh Dondurma, and I hope you come to our concert and you're going to see that. We've just about 1 year ago recorded our last album, which is called Neighborhood, and you have the prospect about it, the paper. So a lot of the music we're going to play tomorrow in the concert is original music which we compose, which is really influenced deeply by the area that we live in. Each different person, we have a lot of wonderful composers in the band, brings their own influences in, and tomorrow we're just going to try and bring out our best variety, and like I said, get everybody up and dancing and happy and just enjoying this wonderful festival.
Chicos, ¿quieren preguntarle alguna pregunta para los músicos?
¿En qué se inspiran para crear esta música? ¿Es de puro sonido o también hay voz?
That's an interesting question. We usually don't have any lyrics in our music. Although in the concert tomorrow, we're going to play a very new song I've written, which has lyrics. So this is something that happens quite rarely, doesn't happen often that we sing. But I hope we do it more, because it's really a lot of fun singing together in a band, taking down the instruments and singing together.
I think, like Udi said, and we're going to play one of his amazing pieces tomorrow, most of our music doesn't have lyrics in it. And in Israel, and as we're traveling around the world as well, we've been to China and Canada and different places, it's always, I think there's the language of music which really helps us connect, you know. And it's not just a cliche. It's, I think, part of what we do, we're related to the street music culture. Here in Mexico, it's very developed. You have the mariachi and music everywhere. I wish we had so much music on the street in Israel. And part of what music and street culture does is it talks to you, you know, on the same level. And I think that's one of the things we try to do with our music. We're not trying to make it simple music. It's not simple pop music. It's very elaborate. It's very, it can be difficult even at times, but there's still something that goes and tries to just talk to people and connect to them. Because music is like taking, you know, the audience with you to an adventure. So Udi's going to help us do it tomorrow with lyrics of this new song he has. But the rest of our music is just, you know, we hope we can connect with the people and make that happen.
Yo tengo una pregunta. Nos platican acerca de que su música en realidad no es algo simple, es música con composiciones complejas. ¿Qué tan difícil es poder congeniar con el resto de los músicos, dado que es una banda numerosa? ¿Qué tan complicado es poder llegar a un punto de convergencia entre todos los músicos y poder crear estas composiciones?
Great question.
No, this.
Okay, so you know, Israel is a very, very divided place. It's a young country. It's a young country with people coming to it from many, many places. It has so many cultures, but in many ways it doesn't have its own music. There isn't music that you can say it's Israeli music.
Like Mexico.
You live in a place where it's very, very clear that you have your own music. Mexican music has a long history. You have a lot to choose of when you think about Mexican music. But Israeli music, if it exists at all, is very new. It's something that's created now. So when starting a brass band in Israel, we didn't have the option to just say, oh, let's make the music that our parents and grandparents made. We had to find out for ourselves what we want to do. So our band is it's a very pluralistic band. We have a lot of composers, and each of them has his or her own love, own taste. Some of them are very influenced by big band jazz, some of them are influenced by Balkanic music from Serbia and Romania and so on. Some of them, I have a very deep love for African and Latin music, and so on and so on. And so all these, every composer brings his own sound, and this is a journey that we all take, looking for our own sound. And the way we work is we let one composer or arranger be the band leader for a while. When a composer brings his own music, everybody is there to help that person make true his idea. So the band goes through very different ways, sounds very differently, and it's a great pleasure to play so many kinds of music in one band. Sometimes we sound more like a second line brass band from New Orleans, and sometimes we sound like an Arabic orchestra. And although you could imagine that we won't have a sound of our own, because we play so many styles, after a long time that we've been working together, playing together, loving each other, having so much time together, I think I can say, and I hope if you come to our concert you think the same, that there is a Marsh Dondurma sound, a sound of our own, that has a lot of Middle Eastern influences, and of course is created by the people in the band. You know, every musician brings his own sound, his or her own sound, and creates a very special and unique sound. And as a person who has a very deep love for brass bands, you know, I listen to brass bands all day long. I come back from a concert by Marsh Dondurma, and then I listen to another brass band playing at home. It's a great pride to say we have our own place in the world of brass bands. There are wonderful brass bands from Africa, and there are bandas from Mexico, and there are brass bands in the US, and there's Marsh Dondurma with its own unique taste, which is somewhat like an Israeli salad, you know? Israel has its own kind of salad. We have a hard time not eating it here. And it's a mix with very different tastes that come together in a bowl. So we're a bit like that, a lot of tastes living together.
What do you think of Goran Bregovic? Do you have influence? Because I love him.
Naturally, I think you can't listen to brass bands and not know Goran Bregovic. The world of brass bands is a very rich world. Goran Bregovic is one example in this very rich world. We love him, we admire his work, of course. And I really think he's one of many inspirations. I wouldn't even say he's our first inspiration, and probably not even our second or our third. It really is, you know, when you're a trumpet player or when you play in brass bands, you come to know this very, very wide variety of bands, as Udi was mentioning yesterday. And Goran is a very well-known and brilliant example. So of course we adore him, we love him. There are many other composers and many other traditions which are a big inspiration for us. For example, the New Orleans brass band tradition is, I can't even put a name of one player. You know, when you say jazz, you maybe say Louis Armstrong or somebody and everybody knows him, but I think the New Orleans street band tradition, which is where all this began, is something, there's not necessarily one name I can point to, but the tradition is so rich that it is a very, very big inspiration for us.
If I can add a few words, there's no question about the fact that Goran Bregovic made Balkan music very popular, helped making Balkan music very popular around the world. And a lot of what he did is, in many ways, just publicize the music that was there. A lot of traditional music that was already there, wonderful musicians making it. I remember when I was very young, this was the only way I could hear Balkan music. And today I'm a tuba player, a sousaphone player, but when I was young I was a trumpet player, when I was 9. And I remember my mother taking me to trumpet lessons, and we used to listen in the car to lots of kinds of music. And one of them was CDs by Goran Bregovic. And many, many years later, when I was about, I can't say 22, we went to the first festival abroad. And the first festival we went to as a band was Guča, which is a fantastic, unimaginable festival in Serbia, a little village. Well, wonderful, just amazing brass bands from all Serbia come to play in the streets and in a stadium. So I remember the wonderful feeling of playing one of our own songs in the street in Guča, thinking what of the wonderful journey from that little car with my mother to the middle of the street in a little village in Serbia. And there we met a lot of wonderful brass bands like Boban Markovic's brass band, which recorded a lot of amazing music that was used in a lot of Costa Rica's films and so on.
¿Podrían comentarnos para la gente que apenas se va incorporando qué instrumentos son los que tocan cada uno de ustedes y si en algún momento intercambian de instrumentos o solo ejecutan uno solo durante sus conciertos?
My name is Bhutan, for whoever just joined. I play drum, I play snare drum and cymbal in the band. That's it.
My name is Udi Raz. I play the sousaphone in Marsh Dondurma, which is the bass instrument. It's like a tuba that goes around you, hugs you. And I usually don't change instruments in the band, but outside of the band, I also play trombone.
¿Una pregunta, muchachos?
¿Por qué creen que la música de Israel no sea tan conocida alrededor del mundo o aquí en México?
Of course, I don't have an answer, but I can think of a few reasons. One thing is that, you know, when a Mexican band starts, it has, and sings in Spanish, it has all the Spanish-speaking world to understand it. But an Israeli band with lyrics in Hebrew has a much harder life getting, has the language barrier. And I think it's a reason.
In our underwear drawer, if I can literally say so. There's been a lot of interesting things happening in a band. You know, you can make a little telenovela out of that if you want, I think. When the band started out, we were 8 people for the first rehearsal, and the second rehearsal 10 and 12, and then 15 very fast. And we kind of felt this is a nice number for this band, it sounds right. I think 11 of the original 15 are still in the band, Udi and me and other people. 4 people have changed, 1 flew to Boston, so we had to get a new one. 1 flew to Europe, so we had to get a new player, and etc., you know, things like that. A couple of interesting things that have happened along the way. Of course, we had a couple form inside the band. It's, I think, one of the, just like a very wonderful relationship about 6 years ago, and a lot of new people knew each other in the band, and we have a couple of people who only met inside the band, and then they started their own group playing something completely different, like jazz or whatever. But you know, they met inside Marsh Dondurma, and they're like, "You like this, I like this. Why don't we get together?" And there's a few bands that have started from inside our circle. I think one of the coolest things we had to do, and you start to get to know each other. We've really been a long time together. You get to know the partners, the girlfriends, the boyfriends of different members in the band, and then one of them wants to get married. So I think when we were about half a year together, or 7 months together, one of the trumpet players wanted to get married. So we're like, "Hey, we're coming to play at your wedding, you know?" and then we played at his wedding, and there's something with trumpets and marriage, I think. I'm not, because just about half a year later, another trumpet player got married. And we were like, "Okay, we're coming to play at your wedding." So that was, you know, that's how it works. You know, we say mishpucha, familia in Israel, and it really is a little bit like that.
So we played a lot of band marriages, and the last wedding we played was the Tanz. And it's a lot of fun to play for people you love so much. You have a lot of, the band is playing with the utmost happiness, and everybody, you know, it's just very, very happy to play in a wedding of one of the band members.
siendo